Hello everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Scott Herman and I run a fitness channel on YouTube. I was on the River Brooklyn and I'm doing some other fun things as well. And I recently did a photo for the No Hate campaign. And the photo was posted on a bunch of blogs and there were some people who wrote some things saying, Scott only did the photo because he wanted more attention, and I kind of lashed back at them on the blogs and there was some banter going back and forth. And so David from wickedgayblog.com had emailed me and asked me if you could ask me some questions to kind of clear up some things and to get some answers for some things. And I said, sure, I think that would be a great idea. So what we're going to do right now is my friend Cliff is going to read the questions for us, and I'm going to answer them. Okay? So just sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Okay, Scott, I have been following you and your career since I first saw you in the real world. I have been impressed to see such a young man not only handle himself with great integrity on a reality show, but also your dedication to fitness and the ability to turn your passion for fitness into what seems to be a very successful modeling career and CEO of your own fitness company. However, what has impressed me the most is the fact that you seem to be a gay ally and have been outspoken about it. I have watched some of your videos, seen your participation, in the No Hate campaign, and as an outsider, it is difficult to determine if this support of our community is for personal gains, or do you really have friends and people you care about in our community?
And that's question one.
And that's question one.
Well, I want to start off by saying, if I was going to do something for monetary gain, why would I pick a cause that has so much surrounding it where it could possibly put me in a position that might not be good for my career? Okay, I might lose some fans because of my support for gay equality, or I might make certain people angry, or things could happen that might not go my way. So why would I want to take the chance and deal with all of this when I could just go post for Playgirl and get a quick couple 4-page spread in there of me showing myself parts of myself that I've never shown before, and I'm sure that would spread a lot quicker than doing a campaign such as this. And the answer is because I have brothers and sisters. I have 4 brothers. I have 2 sisters. I have a large family. And I've always been a role model to them, someone for them to look up to, someone who's strong, smart, intelligent. If I think something's right or if I believe in something, I shoot for it 100%, because at the end of the day, I have to look at myself in the mirror, and I have to be able to go home and look at my family and say, I'm doing what I want to do, I'm doing something that I believe is right. And so, growing up, and have a lot of gay friends, but now that I'm starting to acquire more over the last couple of years, and this issue has been brought to my attention, and I'm starting to see it more and more and more. It's about time I take matters into my own hands to continue to obviously inspire others to want to take matters in their own hands as well. But also, I want my family to see me as someone who does what he believes in. It's very important for me to be, like I said, a role model to my brothers and sisters.
That's great. Second question, Scott. When was the first time you witnessed a gay person being discriminated against? How did that make you feel? How old were you? In school?
I would say the first time I made a gay friend would be in high school, and I had made him as a friend before because nobody knew he was gay, and then when he finally came out, I was like, oh, cool, I have a gay friend. I guess it's a weird way to say it, but that's the truth of the matter, and I remember going over to my friend's house, playing video games, and we used to play Magic. It was one of my friends who more into I guess you would say nerdier things. We played Magic, we'd go play Xbox, we'd go disco do that, and we'd all wrestle each other and stuff like that. And when he finally came out, people kind of felt weird around him, and I would see people pick on him. And I was the kid. I made gay friends in high school because I would beat up the kids that would pick on them, and it wasn't because that I came to their rescue, if you want to say it that way, because they were getting picked on. I didn't know why these kids were getting picked on. If anyone was getting picked on, a lot of my friends in high school were the kids that were soft-spoken, couldn't really stand up for themselves, and so if I just saw any kind of, bullying going on, I would make myself present in that situation and be like, what the heck's going on? It didn't matter if it was because they were gay or because they were wimpy or because they were nerdy or because they were goth. Didn't matter, I just don't like seeing that. And so, yeah, I made my first gay friends in high school, and, when I was at that age, like I said, it was because I would help the kids out no matter what, and to me it didn't matter. Like at that point in time in my life, I thought it was a choice. Like I thought they just chose to be gay. Like I didn't know like it was something that is genetic. You're genetically altered to be that way because when you're that age, you're 16, 17 years old. You don't really think full circle. Okay, now that I'm older and I realize I'm like why would someone who's 14, 15, 16, or even younger choose to walk in the shoes of a person whose life is going to be surrounded by being beaten on, made fun of, not having the same human rights as other people? Like that's not something that you would choose to do. So I guess at a young age, I just subconsciously kind of saw that, but didn't really know why I was helping these people out or fighting for them or trying to protect them. But now that I'm older, it's like it's not a choice. It's something that it happens to you because that's just how your genetics are. And so for me, it's like the people that that I befriended, they just wanted to be themselves. And if anyone, bashed them for being themselves, me being like a little bigger and in shape, athletic, I used to do my fighting, my wrestling, I saw it as an opportunity for me to protect my friends. So, yeah, I made my first gay friends in high school, and I'm still friends with them.
That's great. Question number 3. Did you have any gay friends prior to going on the real world? I guess you just answered that in a sense, but I want a little bit more if you can.
It's funny, as I got older, and I worked at a gym since I was 14 years old, and when I became a personal trainer at 18 years old, I noticed that I was the only trainer who really had gay clients, and I was the youngest trainer, and I was the only trainer who was acquiring gay clients, and I didn't really, like I said, these things didn't really pop into my head until, like, now that I think back on, now that I'm getting more involved in, like, no hate and these issues, and, and I'm always wondering, like, why was I the only trainer with gay clients? The gays felt very comfortable around me. We could joke about stuff. We could talk about stuff. It didn't really matter. To me, it's just another person, just with different interests, but you can still connect on so many other levels. So why wouldn't you make friends with these people? And then even in college, my friend Marky, who she actually wasn't out at the time. It's actually a funny story how I met her. I met her the first day of class. I was late. And she tells the story to everyone. I was running late to class, and I jumped over this cinder block divider, and it was raining, and I landed in a puddle of mud, and I slipped, and I slid, and I walked into class, like, literally, like, I looked like Two-Face, like it was mud all down my face, my shirt, and my pants, and I sat next to her, and she looked at me, she was just like, what the hell happened to you, And that's how I met Marky. And so, me and Marky were friends for a while. We're still friends now, obviously. And I remember one time she invited me to a party. I didn't live on campus. She lived on campus. I lived down the street. I didn't go to many college parties in college. I was always working and focused on other things. And she invited me to a party to meet with her friends. And when we got to her friend's dorm room, I walked in and I noticed this guy James, who I knew was gay. I mean, he was very out and about it, so you knew he was gay. So I saw him and his boyfriend. I said hi, hey guys, what's going on? And there were some other people there, and one of the girls came up to me, and she was a little heavyset, and she was just very like straightforward with her question, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. And she's like, she didn't say it in a mean way. She was just like, why are you here? Like, you're this good looking guy, you're in shape, you have no common interest really with us, like right off the bat. Like, you're into fitness and sports, like we're kind of overweight, and we're gay, lesbian, stuff like that. And I was like, why does that matter? Like, I'm with Marky, and Marky's my friend, and she wanted me to meet her friends, and we could hang out. Like, we have lots of other things in common that we can do and hang out and be friends with, so it doesn't really matter. And the girls looked at me and said, you're really cool, I like you can come hang out anytime you want. And I was like, thanks. But, going through college, like I said, like, I just was always very accepting, always very open, and when I started working in North Attleboro at Antares Fitness, again, I was the only trainer who picked up 8 clients. In fact, that's how I met Cliff and his partner Tom. Cliff was doing an ab machine, and I walked over to him, and I was just like, what the hell are you doing? Actually, and that's exactly what I said to you. I walked right up and I said, what the hell are you doing? Because he's doing this machine so ass backwards. And that's how Cliff and I became friends. And I, every week I would just kind of, if I saw Cliff in the gym or his partner Tom, I would show them how to do stuff. And then we started working out, and I trained them for 6 months up until going on to the real world. And we became very close friends, and they were kind of like my support system. Like, I would talk to them about girls, I would talk to them about like business things they had going on, and then when I found out about the real world, like, the most supportive, caring friends that I could have were Cliff and Tom. Like every single day in the gym, like I would train them extra sessions just so we could like chit chat about stuff, and I appreciated their support and they appreciated my help. So, I mean, yeah, I've had lots of gay friends up until going on the show and throughout my life. I just, never really looked into it too much because to me it wasn't like how many black friends do you have? I don't know, probably a bunch. Like same thing. It's just people. People are people.
Well, that's great, and I just want to add to that Tom and I are just as grateful to your friendship as you are to ours, because we feel like you've given us a lot in return, not only as far as friendship is concerned, but just it makes us feel good to support you in all of the endeavors that you've done, and the success that you've already achieved has made us really proud. So,
well, thanks.
That friendship it's a two-way street, and I'm really grateful to have it. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fourth question, Scott,
I quit smoking.
Yeah, I gotta quit smoking. Again. Okay, your season of The Real World was unique in the fact that it had a transgender cast member, Caitlin. What was your reaction when you learned that Caitlin was transgender, and did you bond or form a friendship with her right away? Do you still speak, or are you still in touch at all?
Actually, one of the things that when Caitlin and I are still friends, we still speak, we're great friends, best friends. I call her, she calls me. We're great friends. And one thing we always talk about is it always made us kind of mad that the show never really obviously they captured, they have the footage, but they never really showed it on TV, the bond and the friendship that Caitlin and I had made throughout the season, because Caitlin's one of my best friends now. And when she first came on the show, I was the first person. I met her in the airport. Like the whole show starts off, if you're not familiar with the show that I was on, when you first go to the house where you all live, everyone meets in pairs of twos, and then they go together. And Caitlin and I met at the airport, and when I first saw her, like I said, I thought she was a tomboy. Like she was really cool. We got in the car, and we were driving, and we're chit-chatting, getting to know each other, and she's really into martial arts. I'm really into martial arts. She's really into like comics and like Marvel comics and Superman, Captain America, and we started talking about all that stuff and Japanimation and all this stuff. So we connected on a lot of different levels, and I was like, wow, this person's super cool. And when we got to the house, everything like in that house, like for me, I just didn't, I don't care. Like I'm just there to meet people and have fun. But it was like people like in the house were just trying to determine who is who and who's really about this and who's really about that and whose personality is really that. And some of the guys were like, I think she's transgendered. And I like this is the term that I had probably like heard in passing, from time to time. Like this is a term that. Like at that moment in time, being transgendered to me was something that like a millionaire could do. Like I didn't know like it was possible to have this type of operation and that it was like perfected. Like the only time I ever saw or I heard anything about it was on South Park when Mr. Garrison became Mrs. Garrison, and they showed the footage of how like they yeah, if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. So to me, like this is all new to me, but the same, like the same mentality. I have gay friends, so like I'm very accepting. Like okay, and I didn't believe it at first. Like to me, Caitlin looked like a girl. She was a girl, and so I was like, no, you guys are crazy. She's just like a tomboy. That's what she's into. And they're like, oh, well, her voice sounds like this. I'm like, so I've known girls like her voice sounds like a girl voice. Like I don't know what you're talking about, And so obviously as the season went on. It started to become more and more, not, I wouldn't say an issue, but more and more of a topic of conversation. Is she or not? Is she is, she isn't. The girls saying that she is. Some of the girls saying they don't know, even though they did know. So created like a lot of like tension in the house, and it got to the point where I started to get not like mad at her, but mad at the fact that everyone seemed to know besides me, and Caitlin and I at this point had become super close friends. And like to me, I'm the kind of guy who I act, I don't react, and I get told that all the time. Like I'll just like jump to a conclusion and get pissed, and then like if I'm wrong, I kind of go sorry, and then just apologize and get over it. But so to me, my whole stance was, why aren't you telling me? Like I'm your friend, I'm the kind of person that I am, I don't care. Why won't you just tell me? And that's how it was going on in my head. So I was getting really pissed off about it. And I went and had a conversation with Sarah. Sarah was on the show. And I said, Sarah, So, I know Caitlin's transgendered. Everyone knows she's transgendered. Ryan just talked to her about it, this morning, and she said she already knew that we all knew. Why isn't she telling me? Like, what's the problem? And then it wasn't until Sarah, like, said to me, Scott, Caitlin's, like, past, Caitlin's life, like, her history, being transgendered, especially where she came from, like, Caitlin was victimized, Caitlin was abused, Caitlin was beaten, Caitlin was put in the hospital. I guess Caitlin had shared these stories with Sarah. Sarah is a part of the LGBT community as well. So, she's telling me, like, all these things about Caitlin that I didn't know. And again, like, me in my head is, I'm your friend, why do you, like, feel like you can't tell me something? But now listening to Sarah, the reaction is, she's not telling you because even though you're her friend, these things that happened to her in her past, they're still there. And even though she might know in her head that, you won't care and you'll accept her the way she is, me being, the all-American, like, jock, like, type guy, not that she thinks that it would bother me, but it's still, to her, like, it's still a little scary because she doesn't want our friendship to change. Like, she doesn't want anything about how we act on each other to change, because I knew that she was transgender, but I never asked her, like, who she was before she was trans, like, any of those questions, because that's just completely disrespectful. And to me, Caitlin's always a woman. And so they don't show it on the show, but there was an after show done about the whole, like, Caitlin being transgendered story, which was aired on TV, and they show, like, a never before seen clip. And it was after I talked to Sarah, I went in the kitchen, and I'm just sitting on the counter talking to Caitlin, and I was like, listen, I know that you're trans, like, I want to talk to you, like, I know you're transgendered, and I talked to Sarah, and I was getting really mad about it, and then Sarah kind of explained, like, all these things to me, and it really, like, opened up my eyes and opened up my mind to why it's been so difficult for you, and I just want to let you know that, like, it doesn't matter, like, you're Caitlin to me, and you'll always be Caitlin to me, and I don't care, what people have to say, like, you're my friend, and that's just the way it is, it's the way I am, and, she was very relieved about it, and she gave me a hug, and I gave her a hug back, and then we went and played pool. We went and play with our balls, is what we say. And so, like, Caitlin and I's friendship has always been very, like, we can joke about stuff, we can have fun with stuff, so, I tell her she has an inside-out penis, and she makes fun of me for things, too, and I mean, if you think that's offensive, okay, like, you need to know me. First of all, it's something I say to her, okay, because if I met someone who was transgender on the street, I would not say that to you, okay, because Caitlin told me how the operation was, and she said, like, they cut your penis in fours and, like, push it in and do all this stuff, and I was like, wait a second, you have an inside-out penis? Like, I thought they cut it off and, like, inserted a vagina, like, I'm clueless to this stuff, so we have, like, our own personal jokes around each other, and, like, that's the kind of friendship we have, and when you have a bond that's strong like that, you can be friends, you can say whatever you want, because, it's not you're not making fun of each other, you're just having fun with each other, so
That's
I love
awesome.
you, Caitlin.
That's a really healthy relationship, I think. Okay, Scott, you ready for question number 5?
Actually, I want to say one more thing with the whole me and Caitlin thing is there was a lot of talk too on the season where I helped Caitlin financially, and I want to bring this up because it kind of dwells into Caitlin's story and Caitlin and I's friendship, and one of the main things, like, one of the main reasons why, like, Caitlin was having a hard time on the show was because, like, I learned all this stuff, like, being on the show. Like, she was fired from her job at work because she was transgendered, okay? And she wasn't fired like, you're fired. Like, she was basically forced to quit. Like, they wouldn't let her use, like, the Human Resources Department wouldn't let her use the ladies' room, wouldn't let her use the men's room, and, like, all these other things that happened building up to that point. And so on the show, she was struggling financially because she couldn't save enough money because she got fired from her job like a couple months earlier than she expected before she went on the show. And so, that's when I offered to help her. And I was like, and I offered to help her because on the show, she was building a website at the LGBT Center in New York. And she was building a page to add to the site about transgender awareness. And that way people who were transgender would have a place to go because her whole story was, I had nowhere to go. Like, this was something new. Like, I didn't know why I was feeling this way. And so she wanted to create a page, a landing page, so people who felt like her could find it and have a place to go for help and support. And when I helped her financially, it was, on the show it shows her launching the website and then me helping her. But the whole reason why I helped her financially is because she was my friend, and it was important for me for her to stay on the show to finish her website, because I believed that her cause, was greater than mine. Like I was just trying to do modeling and acting, like whoop-de-doo. So many people do that in the world, and like I'm not the richest guy in the world, but I saw what she was doing to be a lot more important, and I just want to let everyone know, that's important for me if people know that. Like I feel like what she was doing was a lot more important than what I was doing, and that's why I helped her as much as I could, because like I said, she's my friend. And so she launched the website. Things went great. Obviously, we saw on the episode, and people now have a place to go if they need any help, if they're becoming transgender, if they would need information about it. So it was a success. It was definitely a success. So
Again, I think that you're not only a noble and honest and sincere guy, but that's just proof positive right there that you really, it's not about Scott Herman, it's about Scott helping his friends, and I think that's amazing.